Yo guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a fantastic day. So today we're gonna have a chat about um, taking your textures from Blender into Enfusion and whether it's terrain textures, as you can see in front of us, we've got a terrain texture that I'm working on, or it can be something like a vehicle texture, weapon texture, and so on and so forth. So First things that I want to say is, unfortunately, Mixer has been discontinued since the start of 2025, which leaves us with either figuring out how to do it in Blender or in GIMP, Krita, and last but not least, Substance Painter. So if you're using Substance Painter just for this reason, to take your textures from Blender into Enfusion, please have a watch this video, check it out. It might save you a couple of bucks in a month, per month. If you're using Substance Painter for anything else, like actually texture painting, creating your own textures, doing some edge wear, and so on and so forth, it's probably one of the best softwares out there for that. But anyways, I digress. Let's get straight into it. So this little first video is going to cover setting up the texture, making sure everything is correct, and next video is going to go about compositing the material and then exporting it to Enfusion, where we are going to quickly set it up. So taking it to Enfusion, oh my goodness, right here, terrain textures, making a terrain texture folder, making a folder inside of terrain textures, and then setting up your NMO to BCR maps, and then obviously your roughness, or not roughness, but your material, which you can then drag and drop into your paint section, right? Most of this I did cover in the previous Mixer things, so I'm just quickly gonna recap it. So yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, let's get into it. So I've got a texture right here, which we are not going to use. So the texture that we are going to use is, give me 1 second, is a burnt ground texture. A texture that resembles like burnt ground with some wheat in between, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to close that. You should literally, all I did is I deleted everything. I pressed A, X, delete, and then I made a new plane material, or not plane material, but a plane. So Control A, made a plane, clicked on plane, scaled it out a bit so that I can see what the plane looks like. Okay. Going to texture, not texture paint, that's for a later video, but shading. You should have an open window like this with some folders on the left hand side here. All you do is go to the very middle, top, right? You should see this plus sign. Click and drag to the left until you see this little arrow sign. Okay. Drag and drop. Cool. Now it's a big open area. We're going to create a new material. So click on new, having the plane selected, click on new. We're going to call this material burnt ground. Burnt ground. Cool. So what you want to do now is you want to come down here and make sure that you've got everything, just these two. That's perfect. We've got burnt ground. And now the next two things that you need to do is go to Edit, Preferences, come down to Software, make sure that you're using OptiX or CUDA, either which one. I use OptiX. Also, make sure your undo steps, I don't think I've covered this, but make sure your undo steps is 256. Just gives you that extra room of going back a lot more than what it's set as. I think it's set as 35. So that's a definite must. Go up to add-ons, and in the search bar, obviously I've already have it typed out, you're going to search node. And you're going to select the node wrangler. So make sure that's check marked and come up here. Oh, no, don't come up there. Node wrangler, check marked, close it down. The node I can't speak. The node wrangler is a add-on that allows us to select the normal map, the roughness map, the height map, ambient occlusion, and diffuse, and it will automatically put it into its slots, which it is supposed to go into the principal BSDF. I hope that didn't make any sense, but I will show you in a second. So make sure that your principal box select in the gray area so that nothing is selected. Select the box, select the principal BSDF, Shift Control T, and this will bring up a folder file view. Go to your folder which you saved your textures to. Now I saved them to Polyhaven Materials, and we are going to find the burnt ground area, roughness, normal, displacement, diffuse. One thing that we don't have is the ambient occlusion. Now the ambient occlusion is an important part of making a NHO map. Now when it comes to NMOs, NMOs, you're going to need normal, metalness, and obviously your ambient occlusion. So I will show you how to render those out or bake those in a second. So box select these, principal BSDF texture setup. Boom. Give it a second, and voila. Now you've got your burnt material, 4K burnt material, nicely brought out. Nice. And the cool thing about this is you can, if you know what you're doing in the node section, you can really make this texture even better than it is already with some different or even blend textures with each other, and you can really have some fun with textures, but we're going to keep it basic. I'm going to show you the scaling method right down here. X and the Y, only ones that you need to worry about. Depending on how your texture is scaled, you want to keep it to about 2, maybe 1.5. As you can see here, this shape is the same, this shape is the same, this one is the same, and that one's the same. That is texture repetition. So what this means is the texture is obviously repeating itself. And if you've got nothing to, oh goodness. If you've got nothing to blend or break it up, like a material on top, which is blended in between, like a little bit of grass or a little bit of leaves or so on and so forth, players will start recognizing that, no, this is a repeating texture. It breaks the immersion. There are ways of getting around it, but for this video, we're just going to leave it at 1, right? There are some smart ways of breaking that up and making it look really nice, but that's for a later video. We want to keep this nice and simple. So like I said, on the left here, you can see that we've got the image viewer. We can see each image. displacement, and the normal. What we are going to need is a Shift D. Bring that up there. Press the X button and then new. What we're going to call this is the burnt underscore ground. Oh my goodness. Burnt ground. Make it 4K as well with these textures. It needs to be the same as your current texture quality. When it comes to the oh, I forgot AO, so that we can recognize that it's the ambient occlusion. For the AO, we don't need the alpha channel, so that's fine. Create new image. Great. And now, if you're running a weapon texture or anything that needs an NMO, which is normal, metalness, ambient occlusion, you're going to duplicate this, and you're going to say, let's say weapon. If you're doing a weapon, as we're doing ground textures, we don't need the metalness, but weapon underscore metalness. And again, it's a black and white image. You don't need the alpha. New image. Boom. Now, as you can see, when we click on these, they're all black. We don't want them to be black. We want them to be black and white so that the texture knows where to do the height, where to do the low, and so on and so forth. Knows where to do the magic. How we do this is we need to bake the texture. Now, with some textures, you've got just it will turn out to be just white. That's fine. Other textures, it will be a little bit of gray, black, white, and so on and so forth. That's also fine. So let's start with the ambient occlusion. Okay. Clicking on the ambient occlusion base color so that there's a white ring around it. Making sure that your plane is selected. Okay. Coming to the left here, just underneath the toolbar, you'll see that your rendering engine, oh my goodness, your rendering engine needs to be cycles. Your device needs to be GPU compute. And then you'll see that at the very bottom here is called something bake. And then what you want to do is go to bake type and open that up. Yours will probably be on combine. What you want to set that to is ambient occlusion, as that is the thing that we want to render out or bake. So nothing else to select, making sure that your base color is selected, plane is selected, and click bake. At the very bottom here, you'll see texture bake, 0%, and if you hover over it, it should say time remaining and time elapsed, and so on and so forth. So it's just about under a minute. And then yeah, same thing goes for your base color metalness. So click on this, go to, come on, finish. There we go. Okay, on the left hand side we can see that it's literally just white, like I told you guys. We've got some little details here in the little pixels of grayness. I hope that you guys can see it. So there is a little bit of detail, and that's the type of thing that we want for the ambient occlusion. Some textures may be more predominant so that you can see it. Others may literally just be like this one, where it's white and you have to scroll in to see the little details. But it worked. That's fantastic. Now we need to save it. Go to this 3 lines, image, save as, and then go to a Arma textures area. And what we're going to save this to is, oh no, not the Arma textures, not yet. That's for the next video. This video is for the Polyhaven, so you save it where you just got your textures from. So we got it from burnt ground. And in here, where we selected all these to be imported, we're going to save this one to be AO. Lovely. We're going to make sure that it is a black and white image, 16-bit, and non-color data. So non-color data, 16-bit, black and white, PNG, in your materials folder. Making sure that it's AO, and then save. Cool. Now for the metalness, what you're gonna want to do is go to bake type, click on glossy. So Blender doesn't have a metalness. It doesn't say metalness, but glossy is as close as you're gonna get. Influence, contributors. You want to unselect direct, unselect indirect, and just leave color. Okay. Again, making sure the plane is selected, the base color is selected, and click on bake. Now this one will probably take a little bit longer. Yeah. So I will see you guys when it's finished. Okay, cool. So on the left hand side here, again, we scroll in. Now, obviously, this is a ground texture, which doesn't really have, you know, metalness and or glossiness to it. And also, it's not required by Bohemia's NHO maps to have that. But for your weapon, this might be a completely different situation where you can clearly see the outlines of the unwrapped texture, and so on and so forth, where it's glossy, where it's not. So like here, you can see. So that is how you do the weapon textures or the vehicle texture metalness. Cool. And then following the same principle, image, click on these three lines, image, save as, and make sure that it's a black and white image, 16-bit, and non-color data. Saving it as metalness. Boom. Save. Now, why I keep on saying it's non-color data is because everything except the diffuse base color needs to be non-color data. You don't want any of them to give color data to the final image. Otherwise, it's going to mess up your final image. So yeah, now that we've got everything set up, we've got these saved, and it's all ready to be set up for in the compositor here. This is where we will pick up in the next video, and what we will do is set up the NHO, and I will also show how to set up the NMO map for Armor Forger, and then the BCR stays the same regardless, which is your diffuse map and your roughness map. So yeah, I'll pick this one up in the next video. So if you liked it, subscribe. If you want to see more, if you liked it, like the video. If you want to see more, subscribe. And yeah, again, thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.